All right, welcome to worksheet number 6. We're going to do the flippers now, okay? It's the fun part. All right, so the first thing we have to do is actually draw a flipper, so let's go draw one. So paint a new sprite. Go to vector mode. You'll find that this will help out a lot. Let's zoom in. Okay, I'm going to draw a circle first, okay? Hold down shift and draw a circle. Let's say about the same size of the peg, so let's go 20 by 20. There we go. Let's put the dot, zoom in a little bit more so you can see what's going on. Use the arrow keys, nudge it into place so the dot is right over the 0, 0 mark. Okay, now I'm going to reshape it and turn it into what a flipper would look like. So I'm going to just scroll over. I'm going to click on this one and drag it all the way out to here. It's like 70-ish. That'll work. I'm going to drag this dot over and then this dot over, and we can make it look nice and neat. And this dot, well, whatever looks good for you, right? This is just a recommendation. So the main thing is the center right here, the 0, 0. That's the rotation point, okay, for the flipper. So wherever you want the flipper to rotate around, make sure that the plus is right there. All right, now I'm gonna just give it some color. Let's go orange. All right. This is a bad mix of colors, but oh well. Let's get out of here and let's start programming it. Okay, so it says make a sprite called flipper, so we forgot to change the name. So change the name to flipper. Flipper. All right, so the first thing we want to do that it says is, after making it, 4.2, it says select the flipper sprite and add a green flag element, a green flag event handler to set the angle or direction of the flipper. So what do we want it to look like at the beginning here? Let's move this up. I'll have a flipper here. Now it's usually not straight, it's usually angled. So let's click on the angle and figure out what we want it to look like. Uh, 60 seems okay. So angled down. I like that. That ought to work. Okay, so whenever we start the game, which is by clicking on the flag, we want to make sure that this flipper starts out at 60 every time. So just set it to that direction. Direction is in motion. Here we go. Point in direction, type in 60. So if for some weird reason the game stops and it's in an up position, every time you restart it, you want it to go back to its original start position. Okay, so that's what that does. Let's see what's next. Add a global variable called flipping and set it to 0 in the green flag event handler. How do we do that? Data, make a variable. What do they want it called? Flipping. Let's make it for all sprites because we're going to want the ball to know if the flipper is moving up or if it's moving down, and that's what we're going to use this for. So make it for all sprites so everybody knows what it's doing. So when the flipper is moving up, we're going to set it to 1, and when it's coming down, we're going to say 0. All right. Now, when it's just sitting there normal, that's also going to be 0. So we want it to automatically be 0 at the beginning of the game. So we want to make sure that it's cleared out. It's set to 0, just in case it was on its way up when you lost the game, which is most likely you were trying to hit it. All right, so set it to 0. Create an event handler for the space key. So go to events, say when the space key is pressed. So we're going to use the space key to activate the flipping. Add code to rotate or turn the flipper to make it go up and then down. You may want to use a couple of repeat controls. Okay, so we want it to rotate up and down. Okay, so let's use an if. Control if. Okay. All right, if space key is pressed. Let's go to sensing. No. Okay. So if your space key is pressed, then what's happening when you push this press? You want it to be rotating. So as you start it rotating, let's use our flipping variable and say 1. We're going to use that later, saying, hey, we're flipping, we're moving, and we want it to rotate up and down. And instead of going all at once, we're going to have it, go in steps. So we're going to rotate it in little tiny bits at a time. Let's go to control. Let's repeat this. Let's just drag in and repeat 10 times. And let's just play with it a little bit. Motion, turn. See what that does. And it'll do it right now. See, every time I press it, it turns 15 degrees 10 times. All right. Okay. Now, if I click the flag, it'll go back to normal. So we're not messing it up here. Let's see what else. We probably should have it come back down, right, to where it was. So let's come back down. On the way down, what do we do with flipping? Set flipping to 0. And then let's repeat 10 times. All right. Let's turn the other way. Turn this way. See what that does. There you go. That's way too much, right? So your job is to figure out the right numbers to make this work. Okay? So, pause the video, figure out what you like, and then I'll show you what I like, all right? Anyway. Okay, what I like is 5, 7, 5, 7. At least that's what I did. Yeah. 7. Let's see if it works on this one really good. All right, just enough. Actually might want a little bit more. 8 degrees. If we go 6, I always change my mind, right? Okay. You can make it your own, okay? So keep playing with it till you like the way that it looks. Okay, so that is all of step 4. So now let's go to step 5. So we got to go to the ball now. So just click on the ball. So now we're in the ball code. And so we got to make the ball act with everything else. All right, with the flippers. All right, so we got to make a block. We're gonna. You're probably gonna guess what it's called, but gonna call it hit flipper. Okay. Hit flipper. String input. The flipper. Run without screen refresh. And say okay. Bring this down. I forgot to zoom in. Now you guys can see what I'm doing better. Okay, so hit flipper. Okay, in the hit flipper definition, call hit wall. So we're going to pretend that the flipper is a wall. It's just a moving wall, right? So we're going to say hit wall. Boom. And we're going to say the flipper. Okay. All right. Here's where it gets a little interesting. So if you think about a pinball game, when the flipper is going up, it's gonna affect the ball more than when it's coming down, and that's the whole reason we made the flipping variable. So now we're going to check it. Okay. Control. We're going to have some ifs. Okay, if, let's go to data. Actually, before we can do that, we need an operator for checking if something is equal to something else. So if flipping, so we just drag this flipping down here. If flipping is equal to 1, what does that mean? It means it's actually moving, okay? And it says in the instructions to set the speed of the ball, okay? And speed is in here, so set. I'll change this to speed to the distance of the flipper divided by 4. So when they're calculating the distance, it's calculating it from the pivot point. So the further away your ball is from the pivot point, the faster it's moving. So when a ball gets hit by the flipper out here, it's going to add more speed to the ball. When it gets hit right here, it's going to just kind of, dunk off of there. But out here, it's going to really give it a good push. So that's the equation that they came up with. Let's do it, and then I can tell you how to modify it. So when I say divided by, that means you're going to need an operator. So divide by, just slap it in there right now. Distance to flipper. All right. Let's be to distance to flipper. How do we find that? Distance to, here it is in sensing. You can distance to, now instead of mouse pointer, we're going to change that to flipper. Oh, wait. Don't do it in there. Do it here. That way we can reuse the same code and it'll automatically change it after we make our statement over here. Okay, so yeah, I almost did it wrong there. All right, so let's say 4. All right. All right, let's do our other condition. If, let me do operator equal, so I'm going to duplicate that. Flipping is equal to 0. What are we going to do? Nothing, right? So do we really need this code? We're already hitting the wall up here, so we're not going to change the speed. It's sitting there. It's a wall. So what's going to happen in this code if we don't even put that in there? Well, it's going to bounce off of it as if it were a wall. But if it's moving, it's going to change the speed of the ball. That's all we need, right? So we don't need this other condition here, right? Let's see how it works. See if I can control the ball just a little bit. And it's gonna bounce, and oh, what did we forget? Here we go. If, here we go. Touching, flipper, or block, hit flipper. And then type in exactly what's in the blue there. Flipper. Always check to make sure there's not a space at the beginning or end. All right, now let's see what we got here. Stop. Slow down, buddy. Here we go. And boom. Oh, did a weird thing. Let's try again. There we go. Got a little hit. So it is having some difficulty. All right. And you're gonna notice that. So remember, to bounce off of a wall, the ball is doing all these stabbing motions. And I've always had issues with this particular code because of that. So what we need to do is fix it a little bit by adding a few things. And it gives you some hints in the instructions here how to fix this particular thing. So it says if the flipper is moving too fast, it may move past the ball, causing the ball look like it's going through the flipper. Try moving the ball some extra steps to get out of the way. The instructions say to just do this right here, to move 30 steps, to get the ball up and out of there. But when the ball is moving sideways, like if it's coming in and drifting this way and you hit it, it's not enough. So instead of moving the direction of the ball, I figured out that instead of doing this one, I'm going to change the Y position of the ball. So however far away it is from the pivot point, it's going to move up. But that was too much, so I did about the same equation as I did up above, divided it by 4, and that seems to work really well. And then I did a move on just to make sure that we were away from the flipper and weren't going to try to bounce, do another bounce. All right, so let me show you how it works. Let me slow it down. Slow down, buddy. All right. All right, let's see if it'll work here. and boom. Turn up the friction a little bit. Come on. Okay, so you can see how the ball kind of nudges up with the flipper and then does its, its bounce. And slow down. See how it does just right there. See how that worked really well? With the other method, it works okay too. But you see how the ball jumped forward there, and right there it had a little weird thing. So it moves forward quite a bit. And see how it like kick forward, mine kicks up. So instead of using the direction, this one just moves in the direction that the ball is already pointing. This one moves up, depending on where on the flipper it is. So if it gets hit here, it's only going to move up a little bit. If it gets here, it's going to move up a lot more. So I think this method works a lot better if we're using the original, hit wall code. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to show you the other one. I probably will real quick, but I'm not going to change this one. I'll show it to you on an old project I worked on, and you can decide what you want to do. So I'll pause the video and I'll be right back. So you hit the wall, you back off, so you're just barely touching it, and then you save your direction into the variable called my angle. So it's almost exactly like we did the peg. Okay, so you save your angle, save the angle that you're going in the my angle one, and then you point in direction of the wall. And so to get direction, point in direction of wall, sensing this right here. It's kind of a weird tile that most people don't know about. So you can find all sorts of stuff in there. Okay, so I changed it to direction, and then we dragged in the wall right there. So that's where you find that tile, and then set your angle to the direction. Now this direction and this direction are different because this is the direction at that moment in time, and then after you change the position of your ball to, so what this does is instead of doing the stab to find out where it is, it just says, hey wall, what's your direction? I'm going to match it, but it uses the my angle to remember where it was here, and then it goes where it is here and figures out what that is, and then all you have to do is turn that much again. Okay, so you come in, it goes the same, and then turns it again, goes right off, instead of having to do a whole bunch of stabs. To prove that, I'll show you the ball. See how it only makes one motion in there? Okay, so these pegs do the same thing. So it still has a little bit of issue. So I think by changing the other one a little bit, it works really well on the other one. I'm going to go back to the other one. What we need to do is make another flipper, so we have two. Okay, we're back to the other one. I'm going to reestablish where everything was. Kind of did weird things. Try not to overlap these. I've noticed that the ball likes to glitch when it hits two items at the same time. So, we'll separate those a little bit. Okay, that here, that here. All right, we need to make another flipper. We need to basically copy paste this thing. So let's right click, duplicate. Now we have two flippers. See, look, they both It even copies the code with it. But we need to modify this thing. We need to make it so that it's facing the other way. So, all right, let's do -60. There we go. That one here, put this one here. Oh, what's our problem now? How do I fix that? Make your guess. All right, so what happens if I hit the flag? It goes the wrong way. So I need to take this and say -60. Not the flag. That's good. Still goes the wrong way though. So you could either, let's just do this. We'll take this one and just switch them. There we go. Ah, play. Is it going to work? Only on one and not the other, because what do we need to do? You know by now. We need another one of these. Okay, zoom, zoom. Right click, duplicate, bring it down. Change this to flipper 2. Click on that one, hit the right arrow key, and type in the number 2. And then, because you typed in flipper 2 here, anytime it uses the flipper, it automatically puts in flipper 2 for you. Said that before, I just want to say it again so that you actually remember. All right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, did you see that? Right when it hit both of them at the same time, had an issue. Let's try again. Oh, come on. Let's keep it going. So you can see when it hits really close to the pivot point, it slows it down. And when it hits more towards the outside of the flipper, then it goes fast. So working good. One of the things that has always given me issues with this particular project is the flippers have always acted a little weird. And we keep having these little glitches where the ball hits two things. So keep in mind that this isn't the perfect software to use to make a pinball game, and maybe some of the coding could be changed. The scripts could be changed to make it act better. But that's up to you guys to figure out if there's anything you can do to make it better. If you do find things that make it better, let your teacher know, and then we might make an update video. Okay, that is all.